Today I'm making a ham and potato gratin casserole. This was delicious. It was cheesy and comforting. And so it's very simple. We're going to begin with 2 cups of chopped cooked ham. So I had leftover ham from Easter. And I'm using about 3 large potatoes, and I've sliced them pretty thinly. I'm using about 3 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. I'm also using about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of milk. I'm using about 4 different kinds of cheeses or more. And the reason I say or more is because I'm using a marble cheese, which is a combination of different kinds of cheeses, as well as Parmesan and extra sharp and Swiss. And last but not least, I have about 1/4 cup of diced onion. Next, I'm going to go ahead and saute my ham. It's cold. I kind of want to just make sure it's nice and a little crispy on the edges. So I'd like to go ahead and saute it, and I drain that ham and set it aside while I have sliced up my 3 large potatoes and washed and set those aside. And while both of those ingredients are waiting, I'm going to go ahead and make my cheese sauce. I am sauteing the 3 tablespoons of butter in my Dutch oven, and I'm going to also saute the onions, that 1/4 cup of onions until they're translucent. I'm adding my 3 tablespoons of flour and creating just a little bit of a roux before I add the milk. Okay, so then I'm adding the milk to the roux and onions. And so we're just going to start to stir that and let that begin to cook a little bit. As the milk is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and add about a teaspoon of black pepper, 1.5 teaspoons of regular table salt. I'm going to add my 2 cups of marbled cheese, which is the whole packet. And then I'm also continuing to stir the cheese and milk until it begins to thicken. And so it'll look a little like this. I've added about 1/2 cup of Parmesan to this mix. And I will add the extra sharp cheddar cheese and the Swiss later in the process. So I sprayed my casserole dish with my favorite cooking spray. And I realized as I was beginning to layer the potatoes and then the ham and getting ready to do another layer, it looked a little tight. But it wasn't until I started transferring the cheese sauce that I realized I needed to move my dish to another larger pan. So you'll see some differences in my baking dishes. So as you can see now, I've transferred it to the larger pan, and I've gone on and added a little more pepper. And I'm going to cover this for about 45 minutes. Once it's bubbly and hot and all the potatoes are cooked through, I'm going to pull it out and then I had some extra sharp cheddar cheese that I had crumbled, as well as Swiss cheese. And I'm adding that to the top and putting it back in the oven and letting it brown a little bit under the broiler for about 5 minutes so it'll get a little bit of a crispy top. I know the inside is done. And when it's done, this is what it looks like. It does create quite a bit of oil, so you may have to spoon off some of the drippings. But once you scoop it out and serve it, again, it's warm, it's comforting, it's really very tasty and makes fantastic leftovers. And it's a pretty inexpensive meal to make.